know about you, but I got to a place where I just simply got exhausted. I was so tired of living in such an anxious state of constantly having my mind going at 1,000 miles per hour that I just had no choice but to zoom out and look for ways that would possibly help me change my perspective and alleviate some of this anxiety that I was feeling and heal part of my mental health. If that's you, this is the video for you. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Joey. I am a full-time work from home, stay-at-home mama, an author, and the person that's here to encourage you to become the main character of your own life. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'm very excited to hop into today's topic, which is all about changing your perspective and learning different ways to alleviate the anxious feelings that you're having and to improve your mental health. If you hear really loud purring, it's because I have a cat on my lap, and it's just gonna be the case that if I'm sitting here recording a video, chances are I'm gonna have a cat on my lap because anytime I am sitting or laying down, there is a cat. I've been on this healing journey for a little while now, and there are a few things that I have learned that I can always rely on to help alleviate anxiety in the current moment. And I want to share those with you today in case you are a person just like me who's riddled with anxiety at all times and need a little bit of relief. That just being said, I am not a therapist. These are not medically endorsed recommendations. They're just things that I've tried and that work for me. The first thing that I learned that I rely on pretty much every single day. There's not a single day that goes by that I don't rely on this method at least once. And that is to remind myself that the only thing that is real is this exact current moment that I'm living in right now. And in those moments, I force myself to do a bit of an audit and ask myself, am I okay right now? Am I safe right now? Am I healthy right now? Am I in some dire situation right now? And generally the answer to those questions is like, I'm fine. Everything is fine. In this current moment, everything is fine. The things that have my anxiety spiraling out of control are either living in the past or they're living in the future. And here's a spoiler alert. Both of those things are only living in our imagination. The past is no longer real. The future is no longer real. The only thing that is real is this current moment right here, right now. And so that has offered me so much comfort throughout this healing journey that I've been on, where I'm trying to get a handle on my anxiety, is reminding myself that this right here, the moment I'm currently in, is the only thing that's real. Everything else just lives in my memory or in my mind, and you are okay. Now, this one might be controversial, but the next thing that I learned to do is to forgive myself and forgive others. And please do not get me wrong here. I am not a person that's going to tell you to forgive and forget, because I am a person that truly believes that in some circumstances, it would actually be irresponsible to forget. But forgiving is for you, not for the other person. The forgiveness lives only for you. So if you're holding on to some past grievance, or if somebody's wronged you, or you believe that somebody has done something to slight you, the only person that's suffering from you holding on to that grudge is you. You can hold on to that grudge until the day you die, and they don't suffer a second for it. They're going to go on living their lives as if everything is perfectly okay. This is the common example of holding on to a grudge is like drinking poison and hoping the other person will die. The only person that this is affecting, your unwillingness to forgive is affecting, is you. So I would encourage you to forgive, whether it's a mistake that you made in the past or it's a mistake that you believe somebody else made in the past. Take a second, assess the experience, take what you can from it, learn what you can from it, and forgive. Okay, this is one you've probably heard before, but guess what, friends? Someone else's opinion of you is none of your business. It's none of your business. It took me a really long time to learn that lesson, and once I did, boy oh boy, did things change for me. Because here's the thing, you can spend your entire life trying to convince someone that you think has the wrong opinion of you, that they have the wrong opinion of you. It's not gonna matter, because people live their lives, they perceive things and people based on their own lived experiences. You cannot project your reality into somebody else's mind, okay? So depending on how a person has been treated growing up, how they lived growing up, where their background is, what their education is, all of those things are a factor in how somebody perceives you. And a lot of times, people project their own insecurities onto a situation or onto another person. In fact, a lot of times, if you find yourself in judgment where you are judging somebody else, I hate to tell you this, but if you turn that inward just a little bit, you'll realize that the judgment you're holding against them is actually something you hold to be an insecurity of your own. Keeping that in mind, having that perspective shift really helps, because what someone's opinion of you is says a lot more about them than it does about you. Now, where this is, I don't want to say like controversial, but you can take that idea, you can take that theory, run with it, and take it a little bit too far, where it's like, I don't care what anybody thinks of me, and you could go off being a complete and total jerk and not have any regard for how you're perceived. And I find that to be an issue. So this is where I take in account Brene Brown's theory on opinions. And if you know anything about Brene Brown's work, she teaches a lot about shame and vulnerability. And a lot of times people in a creative field, or even just in general, like vulnerability comes with opinions. Vulnerability comes with the fear of judgment, right? And so she had to learn, and she now teaches that when you're trying to be vulnerable, when you're trying to show up as your most authentic self, you can end up in this battlefield of opinions flying at you left and right, and then you're left riddled with this wondering of like, am I doing the wrong thing? Am I what these people think of me? And you can have that be a situation that stops you entirely from moving down this path that you feel called to run down, right? So she has this theory that any opinions that matter to her have to fit within a 1-inch square piece of paper. And so for me, I don't actually keep a square inch piece of paper, but I do have like a running idea in my mind of the people that I hold closest to me and whose opinions matter to me, because I know that they know me, they know my core values, they know what's important to me, and they are the kind of people that I'm going to trust when I need to be called to the carpet and told that like, hey, you're actually wrong here, or hey, that wasn't your best work, or hey, you could do this better. So I would encourage you to take some time this afternoon. I would actually cut out a 1-inch square piece of paper, because guess what? It's smaller than you think it is, and write down the names of the people whose opinions matter to you. And if you feel like you need a bigger piece of paper, you have to do some editing. Okay, along the same lines, the next principle to subscribe to is the let them theory. You are holding on to so much anger and resentment. There's so much time and energy that we waste trying to control other people, control the circumstances and situations around us. You guys, you experience so much peace when you realize that the only thing you can control is yourself, how you feel, how you think, and how you experience the world. We can influence other people. We can do our best to be an example for other people, but we cannot change how somebody else chooses to live their life. And there is so much peace that lives in that experience of realizing, just let them. At the end of the day, people are going to do what people want to do, and we have no control over that whatsoever. So let them. Let them. Let them make their mistakes. Let them do the things that you would disagree with. Let them. There's so much peace that lives in that realization that you can only do so much. I tend to use the Amy Poehler perspective on situations like this, which is good for her, not for me. Because here's the thing, is everybody gauges their life. Everyone makes their own decisions based on their own, again, experience and how they perceive the world. We're never going to be able to shift someone into believing our perspective if they haven't lived our exact realities. So at the end of the day, just let them. Let yourself off the hook and let them. You release so much anger and resentment when you subscribe to this theory. Finally, the last piece of this puzzle is realizing and understanding that you get to decide how you feel and how you approach the world. And this might sound simpler than it actually feels to do it, and that's probably true, but the reality is we decide whether we choose to approach the world with fear or we choose to approach the world feeling empowered. It's just as easy to choose one over the other. And we are comfortable with the reality of fear. We're comfortable approaching things with scared mentality because that's what we've always done and that's what's most comfortable to us. But choosing empowered behavior, choosing to feel like you are the main character in your own life actually brings so much peace to your experience. So when given the choice, which we all have when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, am I going to choose to approach today with fear or I'm going to choose to approach it feeling empowered? you would not believe the shift that has in how you experience your day. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't going to be things that happen or crop up throughout the day that make you feel scared or bring that anxiety back into focus, but just by choosing to approach things with an empowered mindset helps to just immediately set you on a different path and shifts how you experience your entire day. And how you choose to experience your days is how you choose to experience your entire life. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Thank you guys very much for being here again with me today, and I will see you all again very, very soon.